In a world saturated with content, your trusted RBN embodies that spirit, espousing a philosophy grounded in accountability as it tackles Black social issues, family issues, and political issues with the rigor and fervor that are both rare and necessary. Under the audacious motto, we dare to be bold, not silent, the channel invites viewers into a space of unapologetic discourse, where pressing issues are unpacked with intelligence, empathy, and resilience. Standing at the intersection of empowerment and education, this platform recognizes that discussions around Black social issues cannot be contained within narrow confines. Hence, it sprawls into diverse territories. Beyond the headlines, your trusted RBN explores the undercurrents shaping Black people issues with the lens that is both piercing and compassionate. A foray into the channel's political discourse reveals a landscape where accountability isn't just championed, it is demanded. Through thoughtful analysis and discerning critiques, the platform urges viewers to envision a political sphere devoid of passivity. Here, individuals are not mere spectators, but active participants steering the narrative and progress. Furthermore, engagement is not a one-way street on this platform. Viewers find themselves in a vibrant community where their voices are valued, where they are urged to be bold, not silent, and to engage actively through likes, comments, shares, and discussions that foster a rich and diverse tapestry of perspectives and insights. In a nutshell, your trusted RBN is more than a content hub. It is a pulsating, dynamic entity that stands as a bastion of accountability in a world inundated with noise. It doesn't just venture to spark discussions, it ignites movements, steering narratives with a force that is unyielding, yet respectful, grounded, yet visionary. Subscribe today and become a part of a community where you dare to be bold and not silent, where your voice matters. Now, welcome to our live stream. Have the conversation.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my phone, you getting hands for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can do. Can't even get lost, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before. Ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all this spoils, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'ma serve, and only under myself. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in.
All right, everybody. We are back. We are back. We are back. Late in the evening, but we're back. We are your trusted RBN, your real Bravado Network, where over here we address Black people issues, the issues that keep Black folk from being together. My name is TJ, and I am your facilitator for this journey today, and we address the issues over here. We attack the issues only, not the person, unless the issue is the person. Over here, we dare to be bold and not silent. Listen, I'm not going to keep you guys. It's late for me, late for y'all, but we're going to talk about something very, very interesting today. So there's been multiple conversations around, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Please never forget to simply
acknowledge me.
Acknowledge the real Bravado Network. Acknowledge the chat. Acknowledge the comments after the chat. Acknowledge those in the chat and those who are ninja watching. Let's acknowledge Derek Gaines, who's a top supporter of the real Bravado Network. Our top supporter is not necessarily the monetary contributor, the top monetary contributor, but somebody who's here on a regular basis in the chat, sharing the likes. Hitting the like button, sharing the streams, making good, providing additional content in the chat. The overall support, showing up, giving me your time, and we know how precious that is. So today's stream, today's supporter, top supporter of the Real Bravado Network is Derek Gaines. All right, everybody, listen. Also, I want to shout out to a couple other YouTube channels. Right now, I want to give a big shout out to This Might Be Risky podcast. That brother over there, his name is DJ Hamp. He's doing the Lord's work over there, dealing with those ladies on that damn podcast over there, boy. He is doing the Lord's work over there. Let's shout him out. That's right. Shout out to This Might Be Risky podcast. Let's not forget about Theo Coop with the Do Better podcast. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got a Theo. Shout out to Theo. Here we go. Theo.
Bang! Bang! It's good.
That's for my homeboy Theo. And let's not forget about the kosher clinician who was with us last week for almost 2 hours, did an excellent job co-sponsoring or co-streaming with me. And let's not forget about our brother Kofa, Grown Talk with Kofa. Let's not forget about that brother as well. Shout him out. All right, shout him out. And we cannot forget about the about the sisters that normally join us over here and who support us. We're talking about Mona D. We're talking about Bella Rings. We're talking about Almond Eyes. Let's shout out them sisters.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, let's shout those sisters out, because when those ladies get around ladies who are a bunch of cackling hyenas, you know what they do?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
That's what they do. They get up out of there, boy, quick, fast, in a hurry. And shout out to the big brother gang, the big sister gang. I ain't knocking on you today because I'm a big brother, but we can't forget about we're going to salute to the big brothers and the big sisters. I'm talking about us with some girth.
Yes.
Shout out to those with a little extra girth on us. I'm trying to get rid of mine. So in the last month, I'm down 10, hoping to get down 12 by the end of next week. I'm trying to slim it down. We're going into the what they say. This is a fat boy season. We're heading into the winter. No. I'm trying to come through that, boy. I really, really, really am. So let's go. Hold on. Let's see who's with us today. Let's see. Oh, the homeboy Derek Gangs is in the building. And of course, I spoke up my good brother, and he's here. Yeah, shout out to Kofa, starting us off right away with the $5 super chat. Salute, brother. Keep cooking. I'm going to do it. And for that, of course, I got to give you... All right, so let's get going over here, okay? All right, real quick.
Let me talk to you.
All right, let me talk to you for a second. Now, I don't know. Let me see. We got any ladies in the building? No, I don't think we got any ladies in the building tonight, but I'm going to talk to the ladies in the building for a second, okay? Now, I've been around these YouTube streets, and I've been around these conversations about black men, black women, relationships, who's at fault, who need to do this, and who need to do that. So I've been around that for about a little bit over a year now. And one of the things I kind of want to talk real quickly before I get into our subject today, I want to talk about responsibility. So one of the things that I get a lot of pushback on, or I hear a lot of pushback on various platforms from our ladies, is the volume of responsibility that they have. A lot of our ladies are always sitting around and they're talking about, and they're trying to get us to hear how difficult it is for them to carry the kind of load that they're carrying. And a lot of our ladies are sitting around talking about how heavy the load is. They're taking care of 2 or 3 children. They're taking care of parents. They got to work a full-time job, sometimes a full and a part-time job. Some ladies I know who's doing all that, covering 2 full-time jobs. Some of them are doing all this. They're in school, and so they're always talking about the responsibility load. And to be fair, I understand. When you are carrying a lot on you, that can be cumbersome. But, I often talk to ladies, especially when I hear them talking about the volume of weight that they're carrying. I tell them all the time, you are not designed to carry that amount of load. That is not what you're designed to do. But unfortunately, too many of our ladies are out here carrying that level of load on them. And a lot of them feel, notice I said feel, a lot of them feel like they're carrying the burden, carrying the load because they have been abandoned by some guy. And I mean, you can't really knock them too much about the way they feel. So, because that's how they are interpreting and internalizing their situation. Now, just because they happen to feel that way that does not mean that there are not circumstances or situations, or should I say decisions, that have led them or got them in that situation. But the more we've had these conversations out in public, or when I say public, in YouTube or Instagram and all this and TikTok, even with one another's privately off of social media, when we've had a lot of these conversations, these ladies, they come across like they come from a perspective of that they're being victimized, that somehow that they were duped into their situation to care, especially when we're talking about the burden of them raising children. So a lot of them feel like that Black men have abandoned them and abandoned their responsibilities. Now, of course, over the last few years, that many Black men that have come across YouTube, especially the guys like Kevin Samuels, Coach Greg Adams, and the like, have come on, and we have knocked back that narrative that, quite frankly, the problem is not the volume of Black men out here. As it turns out, according to the data, and I know data, statistics, factual, measurable information is like kryptonite to our ladies. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. They refuse to accept it. And the reason why they refuse to accept the data, the statistics, the empirical facts is because they come from a place of how they feel and what they can see. Our ladies do this all the time. They walk around with blinders on each side of them, and nothing outside of their blinders exists. So they only see what's directly in front of them. And if what's directly in front of them are the bum-busted, dirty Dick Dillinger men that they've allowed into their life, produced children with, that's all they see. And then contrary to that, what compounds that, or what reinforces that for them, is that they got other women in their workplace, in their home, in their families, in their social, like their friends. They got other women who walk around with the same blinders on, and they exchange war stories. And they think because they exchange war stories, and because they run into another woman or another group of women, or the women around them all share the same experience, then that means the entire world is like that. Even though what they see is very small and very narrow, they don't know they're only seeing very small and very narrow. That is the reason why our women refuse to accept the fact that 54% of Black men are single, childless, and over 60% of them earn enough money to be considered middle class. They absolutely refuse to accept that, because in their world, through their lens, through their blinders, all they see is the men that they've had children with, and the men that their mothers, their aunties, their co-workers, and their friends have had men with. A lot of them actually share baby daddies, but they don't believe that either. Even though their kids' fathers, because a lot of our women got multiple kid fathers, their kids' fathers, most of them had multiple children with multiple women before they came to them. So our women, once again, they absolutely believe that the majority of Black men have children and are not participating in their children's lives because of their narrow experience, and they refuse to accept that 18% of Black men make up 80% of the children in the community. They refuse to accept that they are sharing men. Now, hold on a second. I know what you think this stream is about. You think I'm going in on our ladies. I really am not going in on our ladies. I'm giving some context to what I'm actually going to be talking about. Now, so part of me, to a degree, because I get accused by my family, by women that I've been cool with, for a decade or more of having a beef with or got some kind of resentment or anger against Black women, and these same women in my family, I'm talking my sisters, my cousins, aunties, the ladies that I am friendly with, who know me, all of these women, they sit there and talk about me having a problem or beef with women, Black women, even though damn near all of them have received benefits from me. If I hated you or had a problem with you, when I saw you struggling, when I saw you in need, I would have left your ass in need. A Black man who calls and holds you to the fire is not somebody who does not like you. We are holding you to the fire because we do like you, because we do care for you. And I know, I was told today by someone, a 70-year-old woman, she told me, she goes, the reason why you had, this is a lady that I was involved with her daughter. She goes, the reason why you're having issues with my daughter is because you are the first mature, stable, goal-minded, character-driven man that's ever graced her path, and she doesn't know how to interact with you. She doesn't understand that setting boundaries, setting expectations, she doesn't understand what that is because that feels foreign to my daughter. I've been working with her, but she doesn't understand because she's never seen it. And the woman, the 7-year-old woman, you know, I ain't never heard, I was just blown away. The woman said, I failed my daughter. I was like, damn. You know, that's what happens, you know, sometimes. So our women have a perspective because of this. And then they get confirmation bias because of all the other women around them that are like this. They have blinders up. They absolutely do. Hold on a second. Gotta pay some homage.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
All right, shout out to the homeboy Eric Jordan with the $2 super sticker, brother. You know, look, here we go again. Mr. Jordan, how many last $2 do you have? How many last $2 do you have, brother?
But these last $2.
I wonder, Eric, do you got a stack of $2 bills? You know they got $2 bills, right? Do you like go to the bank every day and get like a stack of $2 bills and then pass them out to your favorite stream? To your favorite streamers? All right, shout out to guys, listen. Messy Michonne, thank you for the $10 super sticker. So, I think 2 streams ago, I was talking about, you know, different platforms, and I made the mistake of describing Michonne's channel a little bit inartfully. Hey, you know, we get up here, we try to talk, and sometimes we just, you know, run our foot right in our mouth. I'm a man, I'm gonna do it from time to time. So I apologize for that, Messy Michonne. Your channel is not ratchet. I didn't mean it to come out that way. I actually fucks with Messy Michonne, and I've taken some time on my live stream to explain just how phenomenal of the work that she's doing over there. I just don't have the energy to do that kind of work that you're doing. This is not alcohol. That's tea. I know it's like in a whiskey glass, but it's tea. It is tea. So I am saying all of this tonight, because I want to talk about something very specifically. there's this concept out here called the son husband. The son husband, believe it or not, one of the beefs that I believe that our women have legitimate gripe about is some of us are not necessarily fit for being, I wouldn't say fit. Some of us do not have some of us men do not have our priorities in order about our women in our life. And that's because, ladies, I'm going to keep pounding this over and over and over and over. You need to understand, if you're a black man, you need to understand that when you're at 35, at 30, at 40, you are dealing with a 35, 40-year-old, and you have this presumption because they are a chronological adult that they have the prerequisite skills to function the way that you would think a typical 35, 40-year-old adult has. But you need to understand something about us melanated people, us black people. Almost all of us, with a very few exceptions, were raised in homes exclusively with our mothers. This is not a blame, or we were raised in homes exclusively with our mothers. And so therefore, the majority of our perspectives, the men and the women, and it doesn't matter how old you are, if you haven't taken the right pill and woke up yet, you are rocking through life right now with your mother's perspective, with your mother's attitude, with your mother's way of handling conflict, with your mother's way of relating to other people outside of the family, or sometimes even within the family. A lot of times I have to catch myself behaving like I was raised by my grandmother, like my grandmother. It is a conscious effort that I have to make when I hear information, when I hear things that I do not like. The reaction you get is not the first reaction that I have. My internal reaction to almost everything is to pop off. So when I'm not popping off, you need to understand, for me, that's because I've literally had to restrain myself from doing so because I am programmed like my grandmother. And that's very problematic for women who are on the market trying to find a suitable husband and he looks like a man, he sounds like a man, but he might behave differently. The other side of that is when you're specifically talking about women with their sons. Too many of our women have replaced the father or the man that they would like to have with their son. When these men, these boys grow up to be men and they're out here searching and looking, a lot of our ladies, unfortunately, have to deal with the fact that there's another woman in that guy's life who's more important to him than you. And and a lot of women out here are having to deal with the fact that they will always be this other woman. You might marry him, you might be fucking him, you might be gawking all over the brother or whatever the hell y'all want to do, but you're number two. Coach Greg Adams came up with a term called son husband. We're going to take a look at Coach Greg Adams and him describing what a son husband is. And then we're going to rock with this tonight about this whole son husband thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what I heard coming from Shannon Sharpe.
Talk about this son husband epidemic. Oh, the picture's messed up.
Oh, hold on. Before we get started.
Money making is my thing because I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the
Here we go.
Here comes the
Money making is my thing.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Shout out to Mr. Worldwide, Quiet Storm, with the $5 super chat and a channel member. Appreciate you, brother, with the $5 super chat. No, what does Lee say? No comment, no question, just a pure love of the game. How do you feel, Lee, when people in the chat do that? What do you think about them?
They are amazing.
All right, there. Let me see. All right, appreciate you, Quiet Storm, for supporting a brother. You always do, and helping me grow and participating. I appreciate that. All right, let's get to Coach Greg Adams. Coach Greg Adams, I don't know if he was the one that coined the term son husband, but I really know he made it popular. And he's going to be talking about Kevin Durant in just a second.
Let's talk about this son husband epidemic. Oh, the picture's messed up, but you see this picture. It should be fuzzy. This is my censored picture here. Let's talk about these damn son husbands, yo. All right. This is Kevin Durant. This is a picture of him smooching his mother. That's his.
First of all, let me just say, gross. This is absolutely gross. Who is this old and still going around and kissing their mother in the mouth like that?
Damn.
Yeah, that's a bit much, man.
Hell no. To the no.
I'm sorry. This looks all kind of. Woo. Yeah. No. Not. Let me ask you guys something. You guys, are you walking around here kissing your mama like this? Is this what you're doing? I don't, if I had a homeboy that I walked up on and he kissed his mama like that, you know what I'm going to be like?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yep. Straight up. I'm out.
Mama. Now, there are several pictures of this. If you Google this, there's several pictures of them kissing just like this. This isn't one. There's about 10 or 15. Many men will win their championship and they will bring their wives. They might be solo. They don't really bring their mama up and do this type of behavior out in public. But people found this endearing. Oh my God. Kevin Durant and the mom. Did you see them? They have a one.
I'm sorry. Excuse the living hell out of me. What in the world is so? Somebody got to please explain to me. And I'm not being sarcastic here. Somebody got to explain. Can somebody please in the chat explain to me why this is endearing? What is so endearing about this? You know what this looks like to me?
Emotional damage.
Yeah, nah, that don't look right to me.
Wonderful relationship. This is a little past wonderful. It's going to be a little bit a more uncomfortable type relationship. But many men do have this relationship in the community that when they don't have a father, they have to have this type of relationship with the mother because they've gone through tough times. They've overcome the.
Messy Michon, do you remember that YouTube clip, the YouTube story of that chick who had a threesome with her dude and his mama? Ugh, that's what this reminds me of. Ugh. I mean, there are literally people out here doing this crap. No.
Odds. I mean, I don't know who his father is, but obviously she hit the genetic lottery, or he did, enough for him to have a 7'8" wingspan and have the athleticism of a 5'9" guy. So she wins because she endured all of that enough for her to capitalize on his ability, his natural ability, God-gifted ability. And thus, she can take credit for making him that. Now, I want to watch this. Watch this. If he became a criminal and thug, whose fault is it? Daddy. Dad's fault. I didn't have no daddy, and all my homies got locked up or killed. All that bullshit. But because he was able to have God-given ability, because she gave a man who had this genetic combination access to her, then she can say, I did it. And he actually credits her as being the real MVP when he won the MVP award. He cried, "You the real MVP." A lot of men do that in the NFL because these people tend to come from fatherless homes. If you look at it. The son husband believes that the woman, the mother, can do no wrong. She can do no wrong. She's the queen, even when she's doing wrong. There's an example of Tupac, who has a song called Dear Mama, in which.
And as we found out about Tupac, his mother lied to him his entire life about his father. Tupac's mother told Tupac his whole life that his father was dead. And Tupac wrote not just Dear Mama, he has many songs that reference his love, his admiration for his mother, even though his mother lied to him. And then he found out she lied to him about his father, and he still, you know what? Kofa. Was it Kofa that gave me this yesterday? That in Black culture, that no matter how trashy moms are, that the justification for that is the phrase, but that's your mama. But that's your mama. You know, sometimes, you know, there's a big temptation up here. There's a huge temptation at times for me to get a little personal. I'm going to tell you guys a very recent story. So I am, and I'll admit this. I am estranged from my mother. 2 years ago, I mean, those of you who watched my content know that I was raised by my grandmother. So yeah. So 2 years ago, my mother's father was killed in a car accident. And because I am in my immediate family, I am the most productive person in the family. The responsibility for putting him away landed on me. So my grandfather was killed in Mississippi, and during the time of his death, Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, was still under extreme COVID restrictions, meaning this was 2 years ago, they were not having indoor funerals, even though the rest of the country had pretty much started back doing, had started opening it up, things were happening, things had kind of got back almost 100%. So, but Mississippi was still under restrictions because Mississippi was still on fire from COVID, like real bad, So when I had to plan the funeral with the funeral home, and yes, Michonne, yeah, I had to pay. When I had to plan the funeral home told me, listen, we can't have an indoor funeral. It has to be outdoors. It has to be a graveside funeral. I said, okay. And I was like, because of the restrictions. And I said, okay. So I notified the entire family. Listen, we got to have a graveside funeral. The state of Mississippi is saying this. We cannot do this. What do you guys think about this? By the way, no one came to Mississippi to help me plan this funeral. No one came to Mississippi to claim him, even though I reached out. No one. And my grandfather has 6 children by my grandmother. Not a one of them came to help me during this process of their father. Just my grandfather. So the information went out multiple times regarding the status of the funeral. When the funeral date was set, the funeral home told me, listen, what we can do for you is we can do a viewing the day before the funeral. We'll let 5 people at a time, and your viewing we can give you a viewing for an hour, but only 5 people at a time can come in and do the viewing. I sent out that information to the entire family, which included my mother. 5 days before the funeral, I reached out directly to my mother, which at this point, believe it or not, I hadn't spoken to her in quite a few years. I reached out directly to her and I said, hey, Mom, listen, why don't you come where I am? Because I don't live in the same state as my mom. I said, let me bring you to me, and then you go with me and your mother, my grandmother, you go with me to Mississippi. We'll go together. I said, because I don't want you to miss the viewing. And my mother is the oldest child. My mother said, no, I'm going to go with your sister. I said, okay, Ma, no big deal. I asked her actually twice. She said, no big deal. We get to the viewing is on a Friday. We get to the funeral. We get to the funeral home. My mother's nowhere to be found. My mother shows up that night, about 10 o'clock that night, and she gets angry. She was like, well, I'll just see my dad at the funeral. I said, they're not going to open up the casket. We're doing a graveside funeral. I told you this. And she went and she cussed me out. She cussed me clean the fuck out. And for the cherry on top, she decided to go ahead to let me know, under no certain terms, how much she hated me. So now, as a person who did not grow up with her, as a person who's subjected to whatever she wanted to attempt to subject me to, it's one thing to suspect your parent not liking you. It's another thing to fucking hear it. So my grandmother, hearing this stuff, which is funny, this is only 2 years ago. My grandmother, we talked about a month or so ago. She said it didn't happen. She said it didn't happen. So, so I was like, what do you mean it didn't happen? I said, Grandma, no, this happened. It happened right in front of you. She said, that never happened. I was like, damn. And I just chuckled. So then I had to then I literally found myself re-explaining the situation to my grandmother, who was there. This is my grandmother is my mother's mother. And my grandmother looked at me and she said, she looked at me and she said, well, you need to do something about it. That's your mother. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, you know, you only get one. And I was like, but you heard what she said. It doesn't matter what she said. That's your mother. And I go, what does that mean? That means you better respect her. So, to Coach Greg Adams' point, no matter how bad mom behaves, there's still someone around that's going to always cover for the error. Now, I'm not the son to do it because I'm not a son husband. Not at all, not a little bit. So I understand what Coach Greg Adams is saying, because I've seen it in action. And with my brother, Kofa, Yeah, he just let me put it up on the screen. Yeah, that's what she said. That's still your mama. Even though she did that, that's still your mama. That's exactly what she said. I'm sorry. So, trying to recall this crap, but that's still your mama. That's still your mama is the excuse for everything. Even when she creates a son husband, it's always Jermaine's fault. Absolutely. So let's get back to Coach Greg Adams. So to Greg Adams' point, to Kofa's point, but that's still your mama though. As if that's still your mama though. As if that makes the bad behavior okay. I mean, good Lord.
She says, and I quote, "My mother was a crack fiend mama, but now she is a black queen mama." Hold up. Let's go back. Wait a minute. Does he get a pass if he was a crack fiend? Would he get a pass? He don't even get a pass for going to get a pack of Newports. He don't even get a pass for going to pack of Newports. He gets to get all the damn, it was your fault. But the mother's a queen. The son husband believes that the mother is the queen no matter what. She can do no wrong.
Because that's still your
The
mom.
other thing the son husband does, he's afraid to confront women when they're wrong. A lot of us do this as a natural sense of protection.
How many times have I said that throughout my streams? Another big thing that we have as black men is the absolute fear to confront our women. We don't confront our women because our entire life, the authority figure that we had to bow to was a woman. So when a woman is out of order or a woman starts barking, most of our natural instincts is to shut up, not say nothing, or try to just, do some version of, but that's still your mama. We don't have, look, a lot of us made fun of like when we see white families in the grocery or white mothers in the grocery store with their sons, and their sons are cutting up and having a fit and calling them bitches out in the grocery store and going buck ass wild. We have, or our mothers had, I wish I would, I'm gonna get you. But there's something to be said that in their culture, they don't really develop a lot of son husbands. Now, it seems like they're developing son husbands because of the bratty behavior that we get to watch. But as I got to talk to a couple white families, is that the boys in the families, they treat their mothers like they're just some other woman. And that's because their fathers are around. And a lot of white women start to defer or respect their sons, especially when they get into them teenage years. The dynamic shifts. That dynamic never shifts with us. It never shifts with us. Mom is always at the head of that. You can be 60 years old, and if it doesn't matter if your mother shows up at your house where you pay the bills, you still gotta bend the knee to your mother in your house. Mother is absolute in Black culture. And a lot of our women celebrate that. They hold it with a sense of pride. But then when you start talking to them about the damn outcomes that's producing, then all of a sudden, you know, we got major problems. But let's get back to Coach Greg Adams, because I need to get to Shannon Sharpe.
Protection. So you see a woman staggering and stumbling her way through an argument or a debate, and I'm debating her, and I'm giving her the business. I'm whipping her into the rope, and I'm giving her the big boot. And then I take my elbow pad off, throw it into the audience, bounce off the ropes, and hit her with the rock bottom elbow drop. You know who's going to save her? A dude. Now, he should save her if I'm harassing her, slandering her, and so forth. There should be no need for me to just be talking reckless about her. But if she did engage in some sort of debate or an argument, there was a car accident, she caused it, so I believe, and I get in and say, what the hell's wrong with you? Here comes Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day. And he will swoop in. He will have seen the wrong done, but he would say, we need to take it easy on this one.
Absolutely. That's absolutely. He's funny. Here I come like Mighty Mouse.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
Bang! Bang! It's good.
Shout out to the Do Better podcast with Theo Coop with the $10 super sticker. Theo, I shouted you at the beginning of the stream, brother. Thank you for stopping through. I appreciate you coming up on here we're talking about son husbands to a degree. But we're gonna get to we're gonna get to the main event, which is Shannon Sharpe. But we're letting Coach Greg Adams cook about what a son husband is, okay? So I can help the ladies out. Believe it or not, ladies, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a stream for you, for the ladies. Just let me get there, okay?
When they're wrong, a son husband believes they've done no wrong. They will not call their mothers out. How many men in here have perfect parents? Not many. I'm a parent and I'm far from perfect. But how many men have perfect moms? Everybody. Oh, my mom was. Knowing she made some mistakes. When the father makes mistakes, we don't have any problems calling it out.
No.
That's what son husbands typically do.
Yeah, that dirty nigga, that dirty this, that dirty that. Did I say dirty nigga? Yeah, him.
Another characteristic of the son husband is, have you ever heard somebody talk about somebody's mama? Your mama so fat, your mama hair so thin, or your mama hair bald. And the natural response that people have trained people to do is go crazy, like the Tasmanian devil. I know you ain't talking about my mama. I'll kill you if you talk reckless about my mama. I know you ain't talking about my mama. You brought your mama in there. Now, what in the hell is that? It's just your mother. Now, do we do this? You know, your daddy. And you sit there and take it. You be like, yeah, my daddy is a piece of shit. Okay? You don't have the same come to the rescue sense when people talk about dad, but you will with mom. You'll go to prison defending your mama. You'll go to prison defending your mom. Many men will win their champion.
I'm going to let that sit right there for a minute. That is Kevin Durant, open face mouth kissing his mama.
Damn.
I mean, like for real, like
Damn.
man. Woo, that's rough.
And they will bring their wives. They might be solo. They don't really bring their mama up and do this type of behavior out in public. But people found this endearing. Oh my God.
Hey, Theo, didn't KD's father teach him how to play basketball? Is that something I heard that for some reason, I remember hearing that Kevin Durant's father taught him how to play basketball, and he won't even acknowledge the man. I mean, come on, brothers. You guys got to do better with your fathers. You got to go out there and
Acknowledge me.
acknowledge your fathers. Here's the thing that I want people to understand, too, about their fathers. men, if you're between 20 and 50 years old, whatever, if you have an estranged relationship from your father, do me a favor. Whatever you think you feel, whatever it is you think you know, set that aside and go talk to your father. Go talk to him. Get his side of the story. Get his side of the story. Give him the same grace that you give your thought booger mama. Now, we're going to get into it on Thursday about how a lot of us got mamas that ain't nothing but a bunch of hoes. So we're going to get into it now because we're going to be talking about Kirk Franklin. I know that was 2 weeks ago, but we're coming at it from a different perspective. And the fact that we won't admit that most of us came from a bunch of hoes. Get your father's perspective. Give him the grace of listening. Most of us view our fathers through the eyes of our mother, which is not fair. Now, it may turn out that your mom was absolutely right about the sucker. But more and more, it's coming out that these mothers are being straight up assholes to their own sons. They've been so vicious and vindictive with the father that they're punishing their sons by, it's called parental alienation. Giving your sons one perspective through your eyes, and your son doesn't know any better because all he gets is your view, your tears, your heartache. You are manipulating them. You're emotionally manipulating your sons because you don't want to acknowledge that you want nothing but the jump off woman. And these boys, and they get it reinforced over and over and over because their father isn't there. They don't see him making the attempts. They don't see him going to court. They don't see him paying the child support. They don't see none of that because the mother doesn't want him to. Guys, sit down with no matter how angry you think you are, sit down with that man and get his story. Kirk Franklin, which we're going to get into, this man is over 50 years old, was lied to for 50 years by his mother. And when confronted with the data, the actual paternity test, this woman continued to lie. His mother was a prime example of women rejecting empirical data, science, and facts. This man had a DNA test done to prove who his father was, and his mother still denied it. To the point where Kirk Franklin went out and got a second DNA test. We're going to get into that. I know a lot of content creators covered it, but they're not going to cover it from my perspective, which is we as Black men, we got some accepting of our own to do. We got some accepting of our own to do. And we're talking about we're the leaders and we're the head and we want our women to follow us. In order for a lot of that shit to happen organically and for us to be fit right to do so, we're going to have to accept some shit that our mothers did that has impacted how we operate in this world.
That's what you believe. That's what you believe. You need to get off my mom. I just got off yours. Should be the appropriate response. And it's all here. And then you might be a victim of some violence. But the son husband goes above and beyond to defend the mother. And we call these men pea-sitting down men. This is what I call them. These are pea-sitting down men. These men were taught in the absence of the father to pea-sitting down as to not disrupt the slumber of the mother. See, by the time she fall asleep, the young boy gets up, he's 12. He can halfway hit the toilet with his piss. When he pees, it makes a lot of noise. And the mother's like, the hell is this shit? Don't make all that noise pissing. And so he'll go in there.
Hey, Quiet Storm. Listen, I'm 45 now. I met my dad when I was 30. And I had a whole perspective in my brain about my father. I'm not overly religious or whatever, but listen, when that man finally reached out to me at 30, good Lord, 30 years, I thought I knew what I was going to say to him. I thought I knew what I was going to say to him. The best thing that happened to me is the fact that I did not say what I thought I was going to say. I actually listened. And boy, oh boy, did I get some information. Let me tell you something. When I was about, and to this day, I vaguely remember this situation. I remember being one of the last few times I was actually living with my mother. It was late. It was dark out. So I don't know how late it was. I just knew it was dark. There was a knock on the door. My mother was married to her husband. There was a knock on the door. I was a little kid, and there was a knock on the door. It was dark out. So I don't know if it was in the middle of the night or whatever. But there was an argument as soon as the door opened. There was a dude standing there who I couldn't see, but I heard him going berserk on my mama and threatening my mother's husband. Now, I just remember, and let me tell you something. At the time, I was under the impression that my mother's husband was my father. So, at the time, I just remember fear, because I remember the argument. I remember how I remember my mama begging and pleading. Well, when I met my actual father at the age of 30, he told me a story about a time that he showed up. He showed up to come get me because he had got wind of some situations that was happening in my mother's house. And it wasn't until he told me that it jarred that memory of that night. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if you don't know, or if you've been separated from your father, you probably do not know the entire story. And I know that you want to believe your mama, because why in the world would your mama lie to you? Why would your world, with the woman who fed you, raised you, instilled her view of the world and the view of your father in you, why would this woman who says she would die for you lie to you? And I'm telling you, it's coming out that the volume of women who have lied to these guys, my goodness, sit down, talk to the man, listen, give him the grace that you give your mama, because that's your mama. Like they like to say, that's still your mama, that's still your daddy, nigga.
3 a.m, piss in that toilet, wake up the whole house, because she lives in a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 kids. And then she will say to him, why don't you sit down and pee? You don't need to stand up. It's not because maybe biologically it might be better to piss it down. There's science that might say that. It's not because of that. It's because it's disrupting her. Nah, just pee sitting down. And you'll be taught to piss sitting down. And then you'll get back in bed with your mama and cuddle with her and co-sleep with her too. We have that going on now. Many celebrities are saying, I co-sleep with my 9-year-old son. We'll get to the Oedipus complex later. How that disrupts the natural maturity of the son and breaks the father and son bond immediately.
All right, so that's Coach Greg Adams breaking down the son husband. Many of our ladies out here, when they're out here on these platforms, on these panel discussions, or even in real life, not everything that they're saying about us is off. They're dealing with us, and they're dealing with a large population of son husbands. And I will absolutely admit that son husbands, the affliction of it can range from mild to severe. One of the most detrimental things that a mother can do for her son is to turn him into a son husband. You will make that man no good for anybody. No good for a company, no good for a job, really no good for you, and damn sure no good for any other woman. And then we got about 2 generations of son husbands out here reproducing. They're out here, think about that. And our women are out here, to a degree, screaming that there are not enough fit black men to lead. Now, do I believe that in totality? No, I do not. But what I do believe is that we got way too many of them in our midst, and they're no good for anybody. They ruin. There are men, when you, and this is going to lead me to Shannon Sharpe, when you find a man of means, of stature, that seems to be like a man's man, when you see that and he's 50 years old and he's never had a wife, he's never been married, there could be some truth that he just didn't, want to, but there is a huge possibility that you are dealing with a man whose priorities in relation to his mother is out of order. I was raised by my grandmother. Cannot knock the job that she did. Cannot knock the fact that she did it. Don't owe her anything. And that's the other thing. A lot of our moms will they put this undue burden on their male children as if we owe them something for raising us. That was your job. I don't owe you anything. But when you create a son husband, it creates this anxiety within that boy who becomes a man to always protect and provide for you. He cannot sleep, function, or go about his day without worrying about you and your need. And then some of you go out of your way to interfere and sabotage their relationships with the women that they're supposed to be with. I'm going to play a clip from Shannon Sharpe's podcast that struck a nerve with me, and we're going to get back, and then we're going to cook on that.
First, I was a terrible parent. I was, because I was so. It drove me crazy because all I thought about was football. That's all I thought about. How could I get better? Some kid is in high school want my job. Some kid in college want my job.
Right.
From the time I obsessed from the time I was about 11 or 12 when I really thought about going to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I thought about. It consumed me. And
Yeah.
I ruined relationships. No question about it, Ocho. I should have been married. No question in my mind.
Did you guys hear what Shannon Sharpe said? I ruined relationships. I should have been married. No question in my mind. But he's blaming it on his drive for football. In just a few seconds, the truth. He will reveal the truth.
Now there we go. We getting somewhere now.
I could have been,
we getting somewhere.
But this is what I learned.
Mm-hmm.
Look at, I'm gonna bring this up, guys. Hold on a second. Look at Shannon Sharpe's face. He's thinking, he's remembering, he's analyzing, he's tapping into something. Shannon Sharpe, whether he realizes it or not, Shannon Sharpe is a son husband. Shannon Sharpe wasn't raised with his mother. I believe she passed early. She was raised by his grandmother, like I did. This is why I identify with this clip.
Broke people, men, will lie to impress a woman. A rich man will lie to test a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go broke chasing women, but you won't lose a woman chasing money.
Right.
So I had to balance that out.
Right. I like that. I like.
That's not true with him. I'm telling you what he's doing right now. He's searching and searching and searching and searching for the excuse. He knows he should have been married by now. Shannon Sharpe has a couple kids. He knows he should be married by now. Keep listening.
Yeah.
But the most important woman that for me was married.
It didn't freeze. It didn't freeze. I just wanted to rewind up. I'm gearing up. Come on.
Men will lie to impress a woman. A rich man will lie to test a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go broke chasing women, but you won't lose a woman chasing money.
Right.
So I had to balance that out.
Right. I like that. I like that.
But the most important woman that for me was Mary Porter.
Bang! Bang! It's good.
Who's Mary Porter?
That was the most important. Nothing else mattered.
Nothing else mattered. Shannon Sharpe blamed the football career. He blamed being broke. He blamed having money. And if he would have kept going, he would have blamed it on the rain.
Blame it on the rain.
He said out of his own mouth, the most important woman in his life was Mary Porter. That's the most important woman in his life. Ain't that what he said?
Yeah.
Was the most important woman in his life. Who is Mary Porter?
Was Mary Porter. That was the most important. Nothing else mattered. Nothing mattered.
How many times he gonna tell you nothing mattered?
Damn.
Nothing mattered. Nothing or no one else mattered other than Mary Porter.
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the.
That's the only thing that mattered to him was Mary Porter.
So when people see that's anybody that you can go back and ask anybody, they'll tell you point blank, the most important thing to Shannon Sharpe has always been his grandmother.
He said football. He said being broke. He said having money. He said balancing those two things. He gave an analogy about a rich man will use money to test a woman, or a broke man with. He went through all of those things as an excuse as to why he wasn't married. Those are all reasons why he wasn't married. But if you just sit and listen a little bit, he came out. What he was doing when I showed you what he was looking, he was going down memory lane, and he was thinking about
Took me way back down memory lane.
That's what he was doing. Mary Porter was the most important woman. No, he said most important thing, didn't he? Did he say most important thing? Let me listen to that.
Nothing else mattered. Nothing mattered. So when people see, anybody that you can go back and ask anybody, they'll tell you point blank, the most important thing that Shannon Sharpe has always been his grandmother.
Damn.
To get her out of that environment, to get her out of that leaky house, to get her into some indoor plumbing, to get her into central heating and cooling. That was it. To see.
That was it. And he's talking about this with a profound sense of pride. And he's talking about, and as he's talking about it, he's really, if you watch him, his chest puff up, his shoulders go brow, watch the veins in his neck pop out. He's reliving the feeling and the desperation to save Mary Porter. No, he said nothing was more important to him than Mary Porter. That is why Shannon Sharpe could not be a husband to anyone, because Mary Porter was the woman of his life. Do you know how many women are with men or interested in men of his caliber, or just even a regular old brother that has good character and good bones about him? Not like physical bones, but you know, how he is as a man. But the most important woman in his life is his mother or his grandmother. How in the world is some woman supposed to compete with that? Whether Mary Porter intention or not, she created a son husband in Shannon Sharpe. No woman can compete with that. And the reason why this resonated with me so much is because I understand intimately the anxiety about making sure the woman who raised you is okay. I was raised by my grandmother. But I promise you right now, no other woman has to worry about her order with me, where she is in the pecking order. She's it. Yes, I still have the same anxieties about making sure she's taken care of, making sure that she's getting what she needs, making sure she's surviving. And yes, this is the thing that she was supposed to do, have with her husband at this stage of her life. But too many men can't focus where they need to be because they're too busy worried about their mothers. Now, Mary Porter's husband, Mary Porter was married to Shannon Sharpe's grandfather, who he talks about just as much. Mary Porter was with her husband until the day he died. So this wasn't a situation where Shannon Sharpe was a quote unquote raised by a single mother. That's not what happened with him. But the sentiment is still the same, and the impact is still the same. His grandfather died when he was, I think about to go to college or somewhere around there. I can't really remember. But the sentiment is there. Shannon Sharpe can't do nothing with nobody because Mary Porter is number one. And I guarantee you, Shannon Sharpe has told every woman along the way that Mary Porter was number one. Now, as a woman, us men understand what that fucking feels like. Because we get told all the time that their sons is by another dude is number one. We know what that feels like, being told that on a regular basis, that if I marry you or come into your life or make you or fly you under my flag, that I'm not number one. The hell you mean? But women, they ain't like men. They ain't putting up with that shit. Men go in there, okay, I'll be number 4. You got 4 kids, I'll be 5 on the pecking order. Okay, we'll do that crap. Women ain't doing that crap. I guarantee you, Shannon Sharpe has had multiple conversations with multiple women about them not being number one, and I bet you they told him, well, I can't tolerate that, and he sent them packing over Mary Porter.
You can go back and ask anybody. They'll tell you point blank, the most important thing that Shannon Sharpe has always been his grandmother. To get her out of that environment, to get her out of that leaky house, to get her into some indoor plumbing, to get her into central heating and cooling. That was it. To see my grandmother, one of the greatest, my grandmother go fishing. You know, Ocho, me and my brother would give my grandmother, say, $5,000. And she would still send my sister to the grocery store and put groceries on credit. And she'd have $100 bill. Here, here go a piece of money. A piece of money, Granny. You know, that's how old people. That's how old people talk about a piece of money.
Yeah,
she got $5,000. The bill is $100. She sent $25. She sent $50 that she wouldn't pay it off.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. What you mean you never know? You got 2 grandboys that's millionaires. And so that's what drove me, and that's probably why. And so now I'm trying to get to a place where, because now the most important thing that drives me is work.
I mean, I understand. You got to be on your purpose. Your purpose has to be, I get it. So I'm not knocking that altogether. And thank God for Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson. Thank God for Ocho Cinco. Ocho Cinco hits this man upside his head every stream about him finding somebody. Unc, you need to find somebody. Unc, you can't, this life ain't by yourself. This woman, that woman, Uncle. And Chad is young, he's younger than Shannon by a few years. And it's good. Let me tell you something, fellas. It's good to have a brother around you, a couple brothers around you who sit there and talk to you like that. Whether you do something about it or not. That's a man that got your best interest at heart. Now, what's up, chat? Listen, I decided to take on this subject, and I know it did not seem like at the beginning of the stream that this was a stream for the ladies. It was a stream for the ladies. And to understand that we both got work to do. We both need grace and mercy. We both need understanding. And we were both fucked. We were both given bad information. We were given bad, and we both were programmed poorly. One of the things that we're not doing very well in this space, we're not listening, and we are sitting around pretending that we did not get the same level of poor upbringing. The women got it badly, and so did the men. We were told different things for different reasons, and they produced a certain outcome for all of us. Thank God. Congratulations to those who are in my chat, who are out in this world, who were able to figure this crap out. But too many of us have the reason why these spaces or these conversations are being had is because the majority of us ain't figured it out yet. The majority of us aren't willing to listen. The majority of us aren't willing to accept that we still got work to do. Our women are in complete fucking denial. In complete denial. And it's heartbreaking. I understand the denial. I understand the son husband. I understand the empty vast of manhood. I understand all of it because I'm a product of it. A lot of us are out here having conversations in these spaces about stuff that none of us have ever seen, which makes it even worse. We're all sitting around having conversations about what we think it should be and not what it actually is. My dad's been married 40 years. His father, my paternal grandfather, before my paternal grandmother passed, they were married 60 years. My perspective is coming from those conversations. And I only got to see it at the age of 30. My grandmother was only alive for about 12 years past the time I met her. And I'm grateful to watch my grandfather and grandmother interact. I'm grateful to listen to my grandfather's stories now. I'm grateful to listen to what his perspective was and how he made it work. My grandfather talks quite candidly about the screw-ups, the hard time, not just him, but her too, the hard times. And he said, I wasn't leaving because wasn't no other man coming in and raising my boys. My grandfather had 6 sons. 6 sons with my grandmother. 5 with my grandmother, 1 outside job. 5 boys. He said, they're in my house and no other man is going to come up in here and raise my boys. They can't do the job that I can do. And I wasn't going to do it. And my woman, your grandmother, was a hell of a woman. And I would have killed a nigga. We went to my uncle, my grandfather's oldest son is my Uncle Eric. My Uncle Eric's wife recently passed. We went to the funeral at my grandmother's home church. And apparently the pastor of that church, apparently 40 years ago or so, took a pass at my grandmother. And they had to stop going to that church because my grandfather did not take kindly to that. And I don't blame him. And so these 2 men had not seen each other in over 40 years. And then when the pastor was coming around, shaking the family's hand and greeting the family, my grandfather looked at the pastor and was like, you remember me, don't you? The pastor said, no, I don't remember you. He said, your lying ass dude. You remember that 38 special in your face? This was at the funeral. My grandfather petty as hell. Still holding on to that story. That is hilarious. I'm grateful for those stories. We are broken. We are a broken mess. I said on my last live stream, I talked about triaging and talked about us being terminal. We are fucking terminal and acting around that we are sitting around here with a damn head cold. Do I believe black men have more is a lot farther along than women. Yes, that could be simply because of my perspective. I'm looking at the data, the number, I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at the research. I'm looking at the report that the CDC dropped about Black men. Black men are doing well. Our women are not. We need to meet each other where each other's at, and we gotta let go of. In order for anything to work, our women gotta accept where they are, accept what their men want from them, and we have to accept how we've been programmed and conditioned. Generation X, Gen Y, the millennials, Gen Z. I don't know if any of you will ever hear me on this small platform, but I'm telling you right now, we were fucked. And we were fucked royally. That should be the starting point for us. We need to be able to acknowledge, if we can acknowledge those points that we collectively were fucked, that's a starting point. If we can't do that, the alternative is that we all just go our own separate ways and die off. We're going to die off. I don't want to believe that it's time to just move on. Everybody, it's late. Thank you.
You know, I know somebody out there need to hear this. Somebody that's scared to start over, scared to move on. But I got a message for you. J1.
If the feeling don't stay there, then why you still lay there? It's time to move on. It's time to move on. If the feeling don't stay there, then why you still lay there? It's time to move on. It's time to move on. I know you're scared, because I've been there before. Afraid to take that step of walking out the door, because you don't want to be alone, living in a world feeling unloved, so you'd rather stay there, even though there is no trust. If the feeling don't stay there, then why you still lay there? It's time to move on. 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 If the feeling don't stay there, then why you still lay there? It's time to move on. 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 He may take care of you, but that's not all he's supposed to do. What about your feelings, girl? And your emotions too? What about when you're down and you need someone to comfort you? What about your goals, girl?